Don't try to build chatbots, try to build conversations, and try to build conversations that bring actual value to your customers and to end users.
Welcome to the Chatbot Podcast, the place where we talk about bots, artificial intelligence, smart automation, and messenger marketing. We value our time and enjoy when technology makes our lives easier. And now your host, Balint Pataki.
Hello, and welcome to episode number 15. When I had the first version of my bot building course, Bot Mastery, I promised my students that I will learn and teach new bot builder platforms when I see a need for that and the demand arises. Honestly, I have hoped it would never happen, as it means more work, more updates, more recordings, and so on for me. However, I could not ignore what ActiveChat has achieved in such a short amount of time. After 2 years of this first statement, I've added ActiveChat to the platforms I work with and teach, and I am really happy about it. It's the beginning of April right now, and these guys have been rolling out with new and innovative features literally every single week for the last 2 months. You can read about these in our monthly messenger marketing update articles on the blog. Since recording this episode, I've met Andrii personally as well and many others in the team. I have no doubts that this platform is going to be one of the biggest in the coming years. If you would like to experience it firsthand, I have good news for you. Andrii secured a discount code for all listeners for an entire year. Just go to go.chatbottutorial.com/ActiveChat to activate it. And as always, you can find the show notes at over chatbottutorial.com/podcast. Without further ado, please welcome to the show, Andrii Ganin. Everyone, this is Balint Pataki, the host of the Chatbot podcast, and today I have a special guest with me, Andrii Ganin. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I'll just wait a little bit till everyone joins and I get the feedback that it's working well. And if everything is working fine, we can just roll. In the meantime, I want to say a little bit of backstory, how I met Andrii and how it all started from my point of view. So last year around this time, we talked about a project, an e-commerce project together, and we had a plan to build a platform on some integrations to make it easier to work with the shops. At least I had separately, he had it already, and we had some plans. So we're just like discussing this, and somehow it didn't occur, and I lost a little bit of sight of that project. And a few months later, he just showed me something, and I'm like, wow, that's really, really nice. And then a few minutes later again, like, hey, Balint, can you check this out and give some feedback? I'm like, wow, that's getting there. And I think fast forward to early this year when I was like seeing the whole made product, and it just amazed me. So I don't want to spoil all the details of this great story. So I would just love to have a little bit of background story on you. How did you start, and what's your background? And in the meantime, everyone who watches this live, please just put in the comments, where are you from? What is your bot experience? And if you have any questions to me or Andrii, we will get that later at this point. So please, Andrii, just a little welcome.
Thanks, Balint. Thanks for having me here. It's a great pleasure to be with you tonight. And actually, yes, a great explanation from you of how it all started. We have been bot builders ourselves, our company. We have been building bots for customers, I think for 2 or maybe even 3 years now. And we have tried almost every platform out there, like ManyChat, Chatfuel, FlowXO, Dialogflow, and so on and so forth. But actually, each time we tried a new platform, we found something that we lack there, something that was missing there. So we decided maybe to build our internal tool to help us build great chatbots for our customers. And then it became a project of its own. And yes, it started all with WooCommerce and Dialogflow integration. So we have been working with Chatfuel back then, and we noticed that it's quite hard to connect Dialogflow intents to Chatfuel block and e-commerce to Chatfuel bots, and so on. So we decided to build something that we called integrator. It's still live at ActiveChat AI, and it's a tool to connect chat fuel bots to Dialogflow agents and to e-commerce shops. And then we built on top of this, and actually we created a tool, a visual chatbot builder that will combine all the good things that we see in other platforms and maybe can be free of drawbacks of other platforms, if it makes sense.
Yeah, completely. Thank you very much. So I just want to go back to the time when you had this first idea to build a tool. So you were having a little team, designing chatbots and building custom chatbots to your clients, or on some foundations and doing some extra coding and development work. And you just had these issues like something is missing, it's not enough. So what was the trigger point, so to say, when you were like, okay, we need to have some sort of a plug-in solution on our own so it makes our lives easier, and then we can probably market it later to others?
Great question. And actually, it was, I remember the times I was using ChatFuel then, and I was building, it was like a fun, you add this block and then you add that block, and then you check it on Messenger, it suddenly works as you wanted it to work, and it's like a magic happening, like a living creature being created there. So then when we started building more complex things, I started drawing these like diagrams with one text block, another text block, and so on. And we have been using Draw.io, and we have been using Lucidchart for this. And it was like a game, connect this and connect that and build a complex conversation of it. And then I think, why don't I just click some button here and have this and have this diagram live immediately as a chatbot. So basically that was the idea. And another was, it's like we wanted to have fun while doing this. And we wanted to have this like a playful point in that, like you connect some blocks, you connect the dots, and then you have something live. So actually that was the trigger.
Okay, great. And I remember our connection point was with e-commerce as well. So there is one side of the NLP and Dialogflow to making it like smarter. And on the other side, there is a massive problem when there's different e-commerce products, different variation, updates, and it's just very, very not so sufficient way to do it everything in the bot builders manually. So did you have many e-commerce clients before, or how did the idea of WooCommerce and Shopify come into play?
Well, I couldn't say that we had tons of e-commerce projects. So we are a small team building like maybe 1 or 2 bots monthly. And but we had a couple of them. And for example, one customer from Argentina, we are good friends now, came to us and told me, okay, we have 10,000 products in our online shop and our customers cannot find what they need. They have to click tons of pages, tons of categories, subcategories, and so on. And they wanted to use like a natural language search. Show me your tobaccos, show me your papers, and so on and so forth. So we started with this project, and currently it looks like it works for them.
Yeah, and I think, that's the connection what I had as well. Just make sure we can have some advanced functionalities, and that's where integrator come into.
Exactly. Basically, we see most of the people look at chatbots like websites. It's the same idea. When you have menus, when you have buttons, when you have links, and basically this, for example, on ChatFuel, on ManyChat, you have the same approach. It's like building a small website inside Messenger. And we wanted to change this. We wanted to make this a real chatbot, a bot that can chat to people, that can communicate, can understand natural language, and can do things people want. So that you don't have like an IVR on the chatbot, like click 1 to see the menu, click 2 to see products, and so on. But to make something that will let you design conversation and not a chatbot.
Exactly. I realized some of the time people try to push the website idea into the bot, and it's not the best when the websites are there for a reason with their design and everything else aspects. And there are good use cases of chatbots, and you can do this little combination of natural language understanding, showcasing, and also the push side of things, not just what the users want to have and ask for, but you also can reach them again, broadcast, and provide some value later down the road as well.
Yeah, exactly. That was the point. And the slogan of the company, the slogan of ActiveChat is don't build chatbots, build conversations instead. So that's what we are focused on.
Amazing. So when did you have this dream of stepping up and becoming a bot builder with your company and just entering this market, which has several other big players in it already?
As I told before, we come from digital marketing, from all this stuff like funnels and emails and retargeting campaigns and so on and so forth. And we wanted actually, it's quite dull. Everyone is doing this, and everyone is in this digital stuff, and it's not so fun to build these funnels. It gives money, but it doesn't have this playful feeling when you do this. So that's why we decided to move into something that is like growing creatures for your businesses, growing creatures, growing chatbots for your e-commerce, for your websites, and so on. It just makes more fun.
I understand. And I was a little bit not in shock, but I'm like, wow, this guy had a dream and is working on it and getting there. For me, I was just wanted to have my integration. I didn't want to like, okay, we can make something great and something that people would want as a standalone platform. So props for that, for having this vision and also the many integrations that you came out from pretty much nowhere. Yeah. So for many people. So let's just start to talk about this a little bit. So one of the things that you came out of the box with ActiveChat is the NLP, the Google AI integration. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, we have the e-commerce shops, currently WooCommerce and Shopify. And there are other platforms coming in as well. And there are other fine-tuned things that I haven't seen before. So could you just please tell what you think are these, and also some of the things that are coming or just like driving this whole innovation in the team?
Well, talking about NLP integrations, I think that maybe entities caught your attention, and the ease of how you can use entities in ActiveChat chatbots. How you can pass on these entities from Dialogflow to ActiveChat and pass context back from ActiveChat to Dialogflow and so on. And basically, this is something that we want to bridge this gap between natural language, between free flow models like in Dialogflow and the decision tree based models. If you, lots of our users ask me, okay, we have this follow-up intents in Dialogflow. How do we use this in ActiveChat? And actually, that doesn't make much sense because you don't need follow-up intents if you are using ActiveChat. You are using Dialogflow to detect the original intent that your customer came with, and then you are using this decision tree model in your skill in ActiveChat to fulfill that intent, to bring some value to your end user. And about e-commerce integrations, I think that maybe these dynamic galleries and variations caught your attention. Because we feel like no one does this and no other platform can do this, as far as I know. Build these dynamic galleries based on your search criteria and then immediately add buttons and make it flexible. So this is not like a fixed, you have this and this in your shopping cart, click here to pay. And you cannot change this, but you are showing these different products, and you can build conversations so that it will suit your own needs. It will suit a shop selling, electronics, and a shop selling fashion products is quite different shops. They have different conversations. They have different people visiting. So we wanted to provide this flexibility.
Amazing. Thank you for the explanations. And I just would love to have an example because probably some of the listeners are not really know the follow-up intent and how this goes. So could you just give us a normal everyday life example of how this makes it easier to make the bot smarter?
Imagine that you have a restaurant bot, for example, and the restaurant bot, customers come to your restaurant bot with different intents. One intent would be, I want to make a reservation. And another intent would be, what do you have on your menu, for example. If you build this on Dialogflow, then you will have to get this original intent, I want to make a reservation, and then follow-up intents to get the date, to get the number of people, to get the time of the reservation, maybe some special comments, and so on. And on the other side, to build this intent for what you have on your menu, you would have, okay, what type of dish would you like to see? Should it be pizza or dessert or something else, or starter or main menu, and so on. And in Dialogflow, this can quite fast become unmanageable. Too many of these follow-up intents, too many of intents, too many of entities, and you have only this text interface to control it. So you can build 2 intents here, but if you have 10 intents, it's almost impossible to manage there. So it's much better when you have this only 2 intents. I want to make a reservation and I want to see your menu. And then you take people through this decision tree-based model with galleries, for example. We have on our menu, we have these categories like starters, salads, and pizzas, and so on. And exactly the same with your reservation. Then you have specific skill in your bot to make a reservation, and then you just check these checkboxes. What time would you like to come? What day would you like to come? How many people? What kind of table? And so on.
Exactly, and NLP gives a little bit of flexibility in this as well. So if people are a little bit more like giving in the first, like they say all the details, Dialogflow can detect these intents and entities, exactly. And they don't have to ask again. And if they just say something like we want a table, Dialogflow can help, or like ActiveChat guide this conversation and get all the information needed for a book reservation.
Exactly. What is your personal opinion? How do you see this combination of natural language and a decision tree-based model? What is your personal background with this, and how do you see the future of chatbots in this?
I think it's definitely like, as I told you already, this year, I think we will see chatbots step up in this direction, into more natural language processing and contextual understanding. And I think this is a great combination because it's really complex to build a bot that knows everything and doesn't have to give options to the user. And the user also wants to have these options. So it's easier for the user as well to have a little bit of guidance, but not too many restrictions. So if the user already said, okay, I want a table for 4 people, this time, this date, and everything, the bot shouldn't force them to go on the original pre-written text where like, okay, how many people, what time, what day. It should understand it. But also if the user just gives something and thinks it's all right, no, we have to guide the user as well to make it clear that the reservation is for that and that. And yeah, I think it's definitely a really powerful combination, and also part of why I'm exciting. And we're having this conversation that it helps us much to build these smarter bots in an effective way.
One more question while you're answering my question, if you let me. How do you see the bots that can learn? How do you see this process of bot education? For example, when you build a chatbot and then a user comes with completely different intent that your bot didn't have before. How do you see, I know you have experience with lots of bot platforms, and what is your opinion? Which one is most convenient to add these intents, to fine-tune these intents, and so on? You don't have to say ActiveChat.
No, actually, there's another software I use for this, and it's called Janis, and you have the ability to train on the fly. So it's very powerful because the bot fails. So you probably get a notification if it's that, like, you're lucky to have it and you built it correctly. And you need to handle this immediately or as soon as possible. But you also don't want to have the same error or like lack of understanding in the future, because probably it will come again. So you want to add it to your bot. And I think the best way is to have it from the live chat in some sort. where people can manually type, okay, if that question comes up and it's never been before, and maybe add this is the context, then this is a perfect answer for that. And some of the cases you don't want to automate this, so that's a good option there to just like have it the live chat. But in many cases, oh, I didn't automate this. Oh, let's put this on the autopilot, and yeah, just forget it, and that's it. So the easier we can have this while answering the question, I think the best. And yeah, this is what I like about Genis, for example. So I would like to take back the questioning rule.
Sorry.
And no, it's amazing, and I love the attitude that you have, and also just asking for feedback. Just the way we had it in the last year, this little connections where you were just like, hey, do you have any feedback on this? I think it's very good in terms of the future of the company, to show that you care about this, you want to design something that people want, and you're ready to take feedback, as just in the last couple of months it's been already proven, and I'm really glad and thank you for that.
Thank you.
So what I want to do ask is about the other integrations or innovations that you built, but are not integrations, but the way the platform works are a little bit different from others. So you had also experience with other platforms, so you had this privilege, so to say, that you can, okay, I like this idea, I see what's going on there, but maybe we could do something differently. So one of the things is ref URLs, and that you did the ability to have multiple variables in there. So it's very handy in the e-commerce stores, for example, when you have all the details come into the bot. What else do you think you have that differentiates you or makes it a little bit more advanced?
Well, first of all, I know you would mention these multiple parameters this thing to get your attention. Yeah, and actually, it can be done quite flexibly, and you can, you know, this case with Facebook send to messenger checkbox that is unchecked by default, and it looks like Facebook is pushing everyone in e-commerce and everyone else to use this send to messenger checkbox. But for example, with this sending multiple variables to a single skill, you can avoid this, and you can do exactly the same, like when someone clicks the button on your website, and you can send the event to your chatbot with multiple parameters, and you do not have to have this permission from Facebook. So again, this is about parameters. What else is working differently? First of all, is that we are multi-channel. We are not focused on Facebook Messenger, and we are not focused on some specific messaging channel. And these messenger channels could be multiple. And for example, when you start on Facebook, and then your user comes and says, okay, I want to continue on Viber, for example, or on WhatsApp. And you can continue the same conversation. You can match the user through his email, or maybe telephone number, or website cookie, and so on. You can match these users, and you can know that this user was talking to you on Facebook, and now the same user is talking to you on WhatsApp or on SMS. I think this also differentiates us a bit. And when we now we are building this site chat widget for our platform, our own chat widget, and actually it will support the same features. You will have a site chat widget. It's like a small box on your website, but in the bottom of this box you will have these icons of Facebook Messenger, Viber, Telegram, WhatsApp, and so on. So you can start on the website, and then you can continue on one of these messengers. And I think that that's quite fun to have. And then what else? I think this concept of skills differentiates us a little bit. This concept of skills and the skills that are able to be triggered by different events. It's like me talking to you now, and then something happens. For example, my friend comes in the door and say, okay, I need you, I want you to talk to me. And this is an event. And it triggers a completely different skill in my brain. I have to react to this event and then get back to you. And I would love ActiveChat to work approximately the same.
Yeah, that would be a little bit more complex to solve some of these issues when you have to set the priorities and decide like a human, okay, is this friend coming with a very urgent issue or is something that I can put off a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're introducing these features like emotion detection. We'll have this summer when immediately when you are asking for user input and you have this input in some system variable, you immediately have another system variable with user emotion. So you can, and based on this emotion, if the user is angry, you can trigger one skill. If the user is happy, you can trigger a completely different skill. It's like if he or she is angry, you downsell, or if he or she is happy, you upsell. Like this.
I like the analogy, well, although it's probably not the best to downsell either for an angry customer. But yeah, so it's super important to detect when there is a different method or conversation needed. And as of now, and probably for many other years coming, that would be human support, for example, bringing in people and solving issues. I actually had a issue with the system about the entrance system, and it didn't work properly. And it's amazing if it works, but when it stops, it's just like you need some of the empathy of the human and some cleverer solutions to get by.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree. Yeah.
By the way, live chat and bringing humans in. How does ActiveChat think about the integration on websites? I know you want to have another channel, which is the website. Will we have the opportunity to plug in systems? And actually, it's a question by Gerard about intercom on the websites, or will be there something extra for the ActiveChat users? How will that look like?
We are building our own site chat widget, and it will be a small piece of code that you can embed into your every page, and it will pop up just like a regular intercom or Facebook chat on your website. But it will not be tied to Facebook or to any other messenger. It will be completely cookie authenticated on your website. Completely secure, and it will work for your website visitors. And again, great question about intercom, and I have been talking to a product guy from intercom, and currently we are building this integration to intercom. In intercom, you can have multiple agents, multiple operators, and we are building the integration that will allow you to take your ActiveChat chatbot and use it as one of your live support agents on intercom. And it will be the same. You will be able to transfer conversations to this agent, to take conversations from that agent, and so on. It's like again bridging the gap between a human and automated conversation. And in ActiveChat, you will have this users panel where you can see the list of your users in your chatbot with text and everything, and you can stop the bot and talk manually to a specific user, and then continue the bot from the specific skill or a point in the conversation.
Amazing. So let's imagine like someone goes on the website and starts the chat with this ActiveChat widget. And it turns out there's no live support available because it's at night. So after a while, probably there could be some sort of follow-up or just an option to choose their preferred channel, if I understand correctly, or maybe just an idea of mine.
You will be able to build this. It's completely up to you. You'll be able to build this inside ActiveChat as a specific skill.
Yeah. So what I could imagine is like I could offer, okay, do you want us to get back to you via WhatsApp, via Messenger, or email, for example?
Exactly.
And once they give this permission of some sort, because, for example, in Facebook, they definitely need to start the conversation or give the permission, we can just follow up on them. And we also have them on that list because we're building multiple lists at the same time, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It will work exactly like this, and it will be like a specific block. Right now, we have this add to SMS block that will trigger SMS conversation with your customer in the same chatbot. And you'll have the same blocks like add to Viber, add to WhatsApp, add to Telegram, and so on.
Okay, great. I actually had it today with Twilio.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about the booking flow, and once the booking is confirmed, they also get an SMS. And
Yeah. Did you manage to make it work?
Exactly. It was a little bit of Twilio tweak. So
Yeah,
the countries were blocked for some reason.
Okay, yeah. We want to make a more complete Twilio integration so that our customers will be able to rent numbers and to purchase numbers directly from ActiveChat, and known as it will be not necessary to go to Twilio to do this.
So it was rather the lack of knowledge where to scroll down when I just scrolled through all the websites and didn't find the error message. So
that's a pain for us. We have lots of features and it's completely undocumented, and we're actually working on this.
Yes, it's. I think it comes with the focus, and I actually want to talk about that because there are many things that you need to manage now, and the growth of the company, which comes with support needs, so people like hiring, and also the features that you've announced. We have a big list of features that we have promised for us, so to say, and also the stability. I would like to talk about that as well, because that's a very important part for us to trust in the software and use it long term. So how do you manage this? How do you see it in the near future and a little bit long term as well?
Well, first of all, yes, stability and performance is our primary concern right now. We have built this project quite fast. What ManyChat did in 1 year, or maybe in 1 year and a half, with lots of investor money behind them, and with a bigger team, we managed to build almost the same, like in half a year, with a small team and being completely bootstrapped, self-funded. So this has certain limitations, and yes, currently we have this one cloud application that is serving all these bot requests and all these bot users and so on. And when the load is growing, yes, we have some fallbacks. We can have reboots for the platform and so on. So primarily right now we are focused on building this microservice architecture that will completely remove these drawbacks from the platform, and we'll be able to handle much bigger loads than now, and with all these broadcasts and tons of users and tons of bots. And this will go live by the end of March. We're already working on this. Then you will have a completely different platform. Like our best chatbots, when we had much less users than now on Telegram, were replying like in 1/10 of a second. You send the message, and in 1/10 of a second you have a reply back from Telegram. And we want to achieve the same performance on Facebook. Like you are sending a message, and less than in 1/10 of a second you have a reply from the chatbot. So we're doing this. And yes, currently we're hiring a lot of people. We're expanding our team to help us with the content, with the support, with manuals, with videos, and so on.
I guess it's a challenging time for you to put the focus and probably learning. But I see you're doing a great job so far as I can see. And what I really like is that you have the vision and you really want to understand what would be the best solution. So if you have this advantage that you can, we start with the live chat now. What would be the best live chat in a way? What options could be? And the same with the comment tools and so on. So I think that could be really powerful, and hope you manage all these challenges.
Yeah, actually, when I tell that we want to be number one solution for conversational design, that's not just the words for me. I'm actually focused on this, and that's why I love to talk to people like you. That's why I'm personally supporting the Facebook community. I love to talk to people who are using the product. I love to know what the pains are, what they're struggling with, and how we can do this better.
Great, thank you very much for that. So I just want to start with some of the questions from the group, and I think we can just have a little bit of like a vision, like we know some of the plans that are coming in the near future. You also just gave a little preview of something that I haven't heard before, and what would you see like ActiveChat in 1 year, for example?
We have a bigger project that we are starting considering right now, while still working on updating all the features that I have been describing before. We want to build something where using machine learning, using TensorFlow and so on, some platform where you can upload the history of your conversations, for example, export this from your Facebook page inbox, and then have these bot skills built completely automatically for you based on these conversations. And then you just have like a rough scheme of your bot, these rough skills, and then you just put the final finishing touches like editing conversations, editing wordings, and so on, connecting it to your business assets like e-commerce, like CRMs and Google Sheets and so on, and then having it live immediately. So that's something we would like to build a platform that will let you build self-learning chatbots.
That sounds impressive, and I'm really curious how it would look like.
Yeah, me too. Me too, actually.
But thank you for having just this little vision. So let me just ask a question from Christian. Mm-hmm. So he says, as chatbots are typically used to generate leads from campaigns, I'm wondering if any one of you ever thought a way to track events during the chat. For example, to track when the lead went through, be integrated with Facebook Pixel or Tag Manager. I know it can be a tough question, hoping it's not too tough.
It's a great question, and actually we're already working on this. By the end of March, hopefully maybe in the beginning of April, we'll have these specific blocks to work with Facebook audiences. It will be based on your pixel, and it will let you add people to specific audiences based on what they do in the chatbot. So, for example, when your user provides you with an email, you can immediately add him to a specific audience. When the user makes a purchase, you can remove him from some audience and add to another audience like this.
Yeah, this is really important because some of the targeting and automations that we have can be so powerful if they are done right. Yeah. And it also helps the users to have a better customized experience. So the reason in email there is so low open rates is sometimes because you're just like sending the same email to many different buckets or segments that you should have probably already like segmented and come up with a more relevant message.
Balint, one short question for you. How do currently we have these great open rates and great click rates on Messenger? Don't you think that when we have more and more chatbots entering the market, don't you think that these numbers will be as low as we have on email now?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Sorry to interrupt you. And what can we, as bot builders, what can we do to prevent this?
Yeah, so it's interesting because last month, from the beginning of February, Facebook started to test a separate folder for Messenger. So basically, they created an extra entrance, and it said business, and all the Facebook pages messages were in there, and they stopped this test right now, as far as I know, but it generally shows that Facebook is actively thinking about this issue, so to say, that businesses started to move to Messenger. And if they don't change their messages and just send out all the overwhelming messages, it can be a little bit lot for the user. And Facebook cares about the users even more than their shareholders. So they want the platform to be very, just keep the people use the platform so it can have a great future in a way. And my take on this was that I think it will come eventually of some sort. So people will subscribe to these bots and will feel overwhelmed, and there will be some sort of a distinction. So the open rates will go a little bit down, and they probably won't go down that much as to email, and because of this relevancy and the easy opt-in, opt-out form. So some of the bots are having these website functions as well. So I see in the future they can be a little bit like people come in, browse a little bit around, maybe stay in, get 2-3 messages later, and then unsubscribe, but probably come back later because they need to purchase or some information. And so what we can do as bot builders, I believe, is just building better experiences, making sure we communicate the way the users would like to have this communication going on, and providing value so they don't feel like, oh, this business messaged me again, and try to block it or unsubscribe and everything. And also, I believe the multiple platform, it would be a good solution as well. It's not for Facebook, it's for us bot builders to make sure we have different backup channels as well. So I'm really stoked about WhatsApp coming. And also just leading this to my other question about voice bots. So I know you have some plans about voice integration, and I think it's going to be really big in the future. So let us know what ActiveChat has to say about this.
We are working on 2 voice channels on Google Home and Alexa skills. And basically, it will work exactly the same as you are building bots for messaging channels right now. You will have this talk blocks and listen block. You will have talk blocks to output something to users and listen block to get input from users. And then you will have exactly the same logic like you have in ActiveChat, all these data blocks, switch blocks, and so on. So it will allow you to build easily these skills for Google Home, for OK Google, and for Alexa, and then deploy these skills into these cloud services. And again, combine these skills with the messaging channels like Facebook, like SMS, and so on.
Okay, so in the future, it could be that, for example, I wake up, I wash myself, I brush my teeth, and I talk to Alexa in the meantime because it's a home environment. And probably I could just talk to this bot, which is connected with Alexa, and then say at the end, like, okay, send me this via Messenger, or let's continue this via Messenger.
Exactly.
So if you go out and sit in a taxi, you can just message there, and or in a meeting where it's not appropriate to talk, and you can just continue and probably get some reports, or I don't know, like so many utility functions that could be just like switched to message from voice. Is that something?
That's exactly like this, and actually the opportunities are limitless here, and that was one of the reasons behind ActiveChat. We feel that there is a gap between this awesome technology that we have, like this Google Home, Alexa, these skills, this natural language understanding, and so on, and there is a gap between this technology and actual use cases for this technology, actual implementation. For example, when it was all hype about chatbots, everyone was telling, okay, we don't need websites anymore. Chatbots are everything. They can do anything, and so on. And then in 1 year, it was all like disappointment. Chatbots suck. Chatbots don't understand people. Chatbots are useless, and so on. And the reason for this, as I can see, is actually that you have to have a lot of background to be a great chatbot development. It's like conversational design. It's like this integrations, development, Node.js, JavaScript, cloud services, and so on. And people who are good in conversations, they are not so good in development. And developers are bad in building conversations. So that's why we try to build something that will simplify this conversational development for people who can make great conversations and for people who can make great use cases.
Amazing. So how do you see in the future, like the use of voice, like which platforms could go big, or how could it look like in 5 years?
Well, definitely Alexa and Google will prevail the market, I think. And right now you have like 7% of all e-commerce sales in the United States initiated on Alexa already. And it will grow in the future. They may be not finished directly in Alexa. They are finished on the website or somewhere else, but the searches are being made on Alexa. And Alexa is talking to me right now. I can see that there is quite a big future, and basically you have these voice interfaces in your cars, in your televisions, almost everywhere. And we are building ActiveChat as a platform to build these voice interfaces. I'm not surprised if like in 3 to 5 years, some company like Tesla or maybe someone else will be using a system that we built to design these conversations for their own equipment. And it will not be on Messenger, it will not be somewhere else. It's just like a new kind of interface between humans and computers. It's not just like build a new chatbot.
Amazing. I'm really stoked what the future holds for us, and I'm getting bigger on voice, just having the little wireless headphones and just like utilizing every time you have and keep the conversations going, so to say. We have a question about Google Sheet integration. So I believe it's on the edge. So what will it have, and how could we use it?
Actually, right now, before we started talking to you, I was testing this, and we have two new blocks in ActiveChat. Is GS Search and GS Update. It stands for Google Sheets Search and Google Sheets Update. And one will look through your Google Sheet to find the value in a specific column, and then return you the number of this column. And another will fill this column, this row. Another will be filling this row with values. And I will be posting a explanation video tomorrow, and we will have this walkthrough tomorrow in Bot Academy. I will show how to use this, but basically this will allow you to send lead data, for example, like username, first name, last name, messenger ID, email, preferences, and so on, to your Google Sheets without Zapier, without Integromat, and so on. And then it will let you search for information in your databases. For example, if you have, let's say, the use case, make appointments through the chatbot, and you have this Google Sheet with rows for dates and columns for time slots, for example. And you will be able to check with GS search if specific time slot is available, and then fill it in with specific username to see that this slot is occupied with this username.
Amazing. So many of the users come up with this, like, okay, that's really nice, but we need to take this out from the chat and have an overview with Google Sheet, so we can do further discussions with our clients and see the data and do some integrations. So I'm really stoked that this is coming.
Yeah, tomorrow you will have it.
Amazing. And one of the things I wanted to ask is the tracking, the triggering by the events. What is this? How does this help us?
Well, this is something. Imagine that you are coming to a specific website and you have this messenger, like a chatbot on your website. And then you are coming, for example, to frequently asked questions page, and then you are scrolling to a specific question on this page. And then you are coming to a pricing page, for example. And all this is tracked in your chatbot. And you can have this logic in your flow. For example, if user is visiting the pricing page, and if before this the user was attending frequently asked questions page with a specific question, then you can trigger a specific skill in your chatbot, sending a message like, okay, I think that you may need this solution, and we can offer you a discount if you are using this solution for this specific use case. So basically, this is what can be achieved with our tracking feature. And I know that it can sound quite complex and quite touchy, quite technical. Again, I think we need to post more videos and more use cases on this. But basically what it does, it lets you track almost any event on your website, like visiting a page, like clicking a button, like filling up a form, and so on, and then trigger events in your chatbot based on this website behavior.
I see. So basically, Facebook decided to not support the pre-checked checkbox from April the 9th on. Mm-hmm. And seems like it's a good solution that you have right now to have this for already subscribed users.
Yeah, exactly. You can have this small script. I can show you how it works right now with a screen share, or maybe we can wait until tomorrow. You can have this small script connected to your button, for example, add to cart button on your web page. And when this script will be triggered, when the user will click this add to cart button, an event will be triggered in your chatbot. And then you can immediately have this, and you can pass parameters to that event, like product name, quantity, and product price, and so on. So basically, instead of adding this to a shopping cart on your website, you can, together with this, you can immediately add it to a shopping cart in the chatbot. And then if the user doesn't complete the purchase on your website, you can push the user to complete the purchase on your chatbot.
Amazing. Yeah, I started to test a few things. So, and reflecting back to what you said about just having more material on this, I decided to cover ActiveChat in my program as well. And everyone who joins and becomes a student will have all these technical rundowns as well. So you will have the opportunity to build this active chats and active and advanced technologies. So one of the questions I wanted to ask is how you could do in the future when you want to do something about different tracking methods. So, for example, what would you suggest if people want to optimize their bot? What does ActiveChat support this with, or what other systems we can use to see the data and optimize on that?
We have been considering how we can add this funnel tracking to your chatbots and to this events tracking. And our first idea was to use Amplitude integration. Do you know this Amplitude? It's like Mixpanel or Amplitude event tracking services. It's like Google Analytics, but not for websites, but for events. And you can easily build funnels there and check the retention and check the conversion rates and so on. And we have been considering adding these Amplitude integrations, but recently Google launched his own chatbot statistics service. I don't remember the name now. We have been discussing this like a week before, and we'll be adding this integration to our platform quite soon. So you will be able to track specific events, based on this event structure when the specific skills are sending events to each other. And this event can be like a specific step in your funnel, in your sales funnel, for example. And then you will be able to track these funnels with this ActiveChat and Google tracking integration.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I took a brief look at what's coming from Google's side, and I think it's always great to have Google as a partner on some of these things. It worked out well with Dialogflow, at least.
Yeah, that's why. And it looks like Google likes what we're building because they are approving us quite fast. And recently, when we're approving this constant screen for Google Sheets, they requested, okay, show us the video, how it works in your platform, and so on and so forth. But in 15 minutes, we have been granted permission. They even didn't check the video.
Amazing. What would you say to someone who wants to start with chatbots, probably just for themselves and maybe potentially building it for other clients as well? What could be a good idea to have when you're about to design a chatbot?
First of all, focus on building conversations and not on building chatbots. And when you are focused on building conversations, try to be focused on value that these conversations bring. So first of all, consider what the user wants to achieve, and then try to build a conversation that will let this user achieve this in the most simple, in the most natural way, if it makes sense.
Amazing. Thank you very much. We have a question from Mike. Will gallery cards support GIF at any point?
Not sure. I'm not ready to answer this. I'm not sure if it is supported by Facebook API.
I don't think so, yeah. I'm not entirely sure as well, but I believe we wanted to do a Facebook ad with a GIF and with a card, and it didn't work at all. So I have my doubts.
If Facebook supports this, then we definitely can have this in ActiveChat too.
Exactly. And that's I think it's a little bit a hard part sometimes because some of the limitations come from Facebook directly.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're not focused on Facebook only. For example, on Viber, you can have HTML in your buttons, and it looks really great. So and on WhatsApp, you can have other features that are not available on Facebook and on other messaging channels. So don't try to put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. So bringing WhatsApp back into the discussion, I think so many people are excited about this. What can we know about WhatsApp? When does it arrive to ActiveChat? How will it look like? Are there any limitations we are not aware of yet, or how is it different from Messenger?
It is almost the same as Messenger, but your chatbot will be tied to a specific telephone number, your business telephone number, and then you can you can have free conversations with your customers in 24-hour range. But if you want to make a broadcast, or if you want to send a message outside of this 24-hour range, you have to use templates, and these templates have to be pre-approved by Facebook. So first of all, it's like in WhatsApp integration settings in ActiveChat, you will have all these templates that you can send out of 24-hour range. And first, it's like building a message and then sending it to be approved by Facebook. And only then this message can be used in your chatbot.
Okay, so basically I will craft a message, send it for approval to WhatsApp or Facebook, and then they will let it go at a certain time, or maybe immediately after.
No, not like this. First of all, you build a message, you send it to be approved by Facebook. They approve it, or maybe they don't approve, but they don't send it immediately. And after it is approved, then you can make a broadcast with this message, or you can use it in your flows. But Facebook will take a small charge for sending each of these messages. It's around 1 cent per message based on the country.
Okay. So imagine I have a number of a previous customer, and they come to my website where I have the tracking for the events. So I track in my system, okay, they come back to my site after like 2 months. And I want to reach them out, and I could just because I have from the order their phone number, I can just send a message via WhatsApp, and I would have a pre-approved message for that. So, for example, hey, I saw you coming back to my shop, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you will have something like a get started screen in your chatbot. So first of all, the user will receive a message like business this, like a chatbot tutorial wants to establish communication to you on WhatsApp. Do you allow it? And if you click like get started, then this message will be delivered.
Okay, so it's the same way, just you can start the conversation, like you can invite them by having the number.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it works, right now it works the same on Viber.
Yeah. My problem personally with Viber is just the spread. Like it's popular in some Eastern European countries, or I guess it's Israel or maybe Turkey, but in many countries it's barely used. And WhatsApp has a way wider spread. Yeah.
We have been thinking about adding Viber first, but then this news came about Viber charging like $4,500 monthly for a chatbot. So we decided that WhatsApp will go first.
Okay, so by first, what do you mean? Everyone is so excited to hear that. What time do you have any
for WhatsApp?
Estimated? Yeah, time for arrival.
We expect to have it in April.
In April, okay. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm just looking at the questions if we have anything unanswered right here now. Otherwise, I think I will thank you for the valuable insights. And just a quick question about if someone wants to start selling chatbots, what do you think what they should be aware of when they deliver it or talk with the clients? You have this experience from the past. So what are the things that can improve them when they're about to deliver a client bot?
Well, first of all, I can share a quick hint how to find customers for your chatbots. You can open your own mailbox, your personal inbox, and search for messages that contain unsubscribe link. And all these messages are automated. So you can reach out to the owners of these messages, to these businesses, and tell them, okay, you have this 5% open rate on email, let's make it 90% on the chatbot. And you immediately have a ton of leads to build chatbots for. We have used this approach and it actually works. When building chatbots, when selling chatbots to specific companies, to businesses, first of all, I think that it would be great to focus on a specific niche. to select, to choose a segment, and then specialize and build a specific kind of chatbots. The reason for this is that once you build one or two or three, it's much easier for you to find the customers who are the same and to build better bots for these new customers. You know how much it costs, you know how much it takes for you, how long does it take, and so on. So focus on specific niche. Again, try to understand what the customer wants to achieve. It's not like build the bots because bots are popular. It's like build a chatbot because this chatbot can make a specific, can bring specific value to your company and to your users, and that should work, I think.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I really love how you emphasized having a niche, and not only because you can be an expert in that and you can easily get other clients, but also you can reuse some of the things that you already have.
Exactly.
So,
with reusable skills and with reusable templates and so on.
Exactly, yeah. Actually, it's one of the things I have it in my program as well, just having the templates. And once you have it, just plug it in. The same value for the client, but way less work for you. Yeah. So it's really, really powerful. So if people want to start with ActiveChat, what shall they do? How would it look like?
Well, first of all, check the templates and check the videos and manuals. We have a learning curve, and this learning curve is quite complex now. Hopefully this will change in a month or two. We are working on complete interface redesign, on the complete user experience redesign right now. Hopefully it will be much easier soon. But currently, yes, start with videos and start with decomposing templates. And actually, tomorrow we'll do exactly this. Tomorrow in our Bot Academy, we'll be decomposing one of our templates to show how it works from the inside, all the skills, blocks, and so on.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much. I think that will be the final thought. And actually, we will then discuss this tomorrow because I will be a guest there. Yeah. So I'm really stoked about that. For everyone who wants to try out ActiveChat, they have a 14-day trial, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you can browse around and figure out how it could help you. And also, Andrii was very generous and gave in my request, and we give you 15% off with the coupon code I have in the descriptions and on the screen right now. So you can have it for the first year a little bit cheaper just because you follow Chatbot tutorial. Thank you, Andrii. Is there anything, just one sentence that you would like to say? This is the right time now. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for all this content that you provide, for all this chatbot education, and for your attention to detail, and for the versatility of the content that you do. And for all who is attending these events, again, don't build chatbots, build conversations, and concentrate on bringing value to your companies and to your clients.
Well, I hate to say that, but once again, please repeat this last sentence.
Okay. Sorry for this. Don't try to build chatbots. Try to build conversations, and try to build conversations that bring actual value to your customers and to end users.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, and everyone who is tomorrow at the Bot Academy, see you there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day there. Bye-bye.
It's always a pleasure to have a chat with Andrii. His willingness to learn and get a deeper understanding on how his platform can help people is fascinating. Hope you enjoyed this interview. If you have any questions that you would like me or a guest of mine to answer, please just go to chatbottutorial.com/ask and drop your question there. I strongly suggest you give ActiveChat a go. Just go to go.chatbottutorial.com/ActiveChat and you will receive our special discount for a 15% off for a whole year after you have your first 2 weeks of trial. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for joining the Chatbot Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate us on iTunes and share it with others.